The stars look different from this angle. Commander Teal pressed his long, slender fingers against the viewing glass of the main bridge. His skin glowed with a soft blue light that brightened with his excitement. After 20 cycles of space exploration, the Lumari scientific fleet had finally reached the edge of the Sol system. "Commander, all 7 research vessels report ready status," said Officer Reed, her light pulsing in calm green patterns. "Sensors detect unusual energy readings from the 3rd planet." Teal nodded. The Lumari had studied this system from afar, for many years. The blue-green world called Earth held great interest for them. Its people had developed quickly, moving from simple tools to space travel in a very short time. "Begin slow approach. Keep all communication channels open. Remember, our mission is peaceful study only," Teal said to his crew of 15 Lumari scientists and explorers. The Lumari ships moved forward as one group. They were not built for speed or war. Their round, smooth bodies shimmered with the same soft light as their pilots. The ships contained the best scientific equipment the Lumari had created in their 5,000 years of peaceful development. Reed suddenly looked up from her station. "Commander, unknown objects appearing at Mark 7. Teal turned as the main screen filled with a sight that made his light dim with fear. 3 massive ships had appeared from nowhere. Their dark shapes looked like giant hunting animals. Sharp points jutted from their sides. Red lights glowed like angry eyes from their front sections. "Scan them," ordered Teal, trying to keep his voice steady. Reed worked quickly. "They're Varrocs. Ships. Hunter class. Weapons active." Every Lumari on the bridge froze. The Varrocs were known across the galaxy as hunters and killers. They did not explore or learn. They only took what they wanted from other worlds and peoples. "How did they find us?" "We're too far from home for them to have followed," said Teal. "Unknown, sir. But they've surrounded our fleet. More ships appearing now." 5 more hunter ships blinked into view. The Lumari vessels were now completely circled. Their sensors showed more hunter ships appearing every minute until 20 deadly Varroc ships formed a tight ring around them. A harsh voice boomed through their communication system. "Attention, unknown vessels. This is Captain Mork of the Varroc's hunter fleet. You have entered our hunting grounds. Prepare to be boarded." Teal straightened his tall body. "This is Commander Teal of the Lumari Science Fleet. We are on a peaceful mission to study the Sol system. We mean no harm." A rough laugh answered him. "The Lumari? Even better. Your kind makes excellent study subjects. Your light organs will make fine trophies for my wall." The main screen showed a Varrocs for the first time. Captain Mork stood nearly 7 feet tall. His scaly skin was dark gray with red markings. Sharp teeth showed when he smiled. His eyes were black with red rings that seemed to glow with hunger. "We wish no conflict," said Teal. "We will leave your hunting grounds immediately." "Too late for that," growled Mork. "My hunters have been tracking you for days. We know your ships have no weapons. The hunt would be boring if you simply ran away." Reed whispered to Teal, "Commander, we've detected radio signals from the 3rd planet. The humans might help us." Teal considered this quickly. The Lumari had planned to observe the humans from a distance, not make direct contact so soon, but facing the Varrocs hunters left them no choice. "Keep the Varrocs talking," Teal whispered back. To his communications officer he said, "Send an emergency signal to Earth. Use simple language and images. Show them what we face." While Mork continued to threaten them, the Lumari sent their desperate call for help. They included basic translation codes and images of their fleet surrounded by the hunter ships. "Enough talk," Mork finally said. "Prepare your ships for boarding. Try to run, and we will destroy you one by one. It makes no difference to us whether we take you alive or dead." The first Varroc ship moved closer to the smallest Lumari vessel. Metal arms extended from its side, ready to cut through the research ship's soft outer shell. "Sir," Reed called out, "the 3rd planet has responded. They've received our message." Hope flashed across Teal's face, making his light pulse brightly. But it faded quickly as he looked at the approaching hunter ships. Even if the humans wanted to help, what could they do against 20 Varrocs hunter ships? The humans barely had space travel. Their technology was primitive compared to the Verox. The metal arms touched the first Lumari ship. The sound of cutting. Metal echoed through the communication system as the scientists inside screamed. "Commander, the humans say they're sending help. One ship approaching fast." One ship? Teal could hardly believe it. That's suicide. On the main screen, a small dot appeared, moving quickly from the direction of Earth. It was so small that, at first, the Verox didn't notice it. Their attention was focused on cutting open the Lumari research vessel. "What is that thing?" Reed asked, studying her readings. "It's using some drive system I've never seen before. And it's small, maybe room for 1 or 2 pilots only." The dot grew larger, moving faster than any ship Teal had ever seen. As it came closer, they could see its strange shape. It looked nothing like the smooth Lumari ships or the sharp hunter ships of the Verox. This ship was rough, angular, built for speed rather than beauty. "Human vessel approaching Verox hunter fleet at high speed," reported Reed. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." Suddenly, a loud rhythmic sound filled the Lumari bridge. It was music, but unlike anything they had heard before. It had a strong beat that seemed to pound like a heart. A single human voice shouted words in a language none of them understood, but the meaning was clear. A challenge, a war cry. The Verox ships stopped their attack. Even they seemed surprised by the small ship's bold approach and its strange, threatening sounds. Captain Mork's voice came through again. "What is that? Identify the new ship." Teal smiled as his light glowed brighter. "That, Captain Mork, is a human, and I believe they've come to hunt the hunters." The single human ship darted between the massive Verox hunters with impossible speed. Its engines left a blue trail as it zigzagged through the deadly formation. The war music continued to blast across all communication channels, growing louder with each pass. Commander Teal watched in amazement. The Lumari had studied thousands of species across the galaxy, but none had ever responded to danger quite like this. The human wasn't running away. It was taunting the hunters. "Get me communications with that human ship," Teal ordered. "Officer." Reed worked quickly at her station, her light flickering with concentration. "Connected, Commander." "Human vessel. This is Commander Teal of the Lumari Science Fleet. We thank you for your response, but we fear you have put yourself in grave danger." A voice answered, clear and confident. "This is Lieutenant Jack of Earth Defense. Hang tight, Commander. I'm just getting their attention." On the main screen, Captain Mork's face showed confusion turning to anger. "Destroy that tiny ship," he ordered his fleet. The Verox hunters turned their weapons toward the small human vessel. Red beams of energy shot through space, but somehow, the human ship dodged each one, moving in patterns that made no sense. "Impossible," growled Mork. "Nothing can move like that." Lieutenant Jack's voice came through again, this time directed at the Verox. "Hey there, big and ugly. That the best you can do? My grandma shoots better than that." Teal turned to Reed. "What is this human doing? Is it insulting them?" Reed's light pulsed with confusion. "I believe they call it psychological warfare. The human is trying to make the Verox angry so they'll make mistakes." The strategy seemed to be working. The Verox ships were now focused entirely on the human vessel, firing wildly and missing each time. In their rage, they had stopped attacking the Lumari fleet. "Commander," said Reed suddenly, "I'm detecting a small shuttle approaching our ship from the human vessel." Teal moved to the viewing port and saw a tiny craft heading straight for them. "Open the emergency docking bay." Minutes later, Lieutenant Jack stepped onto the Lumari bridge. The human was shorter than the Lumari, with no natural light. Instead, Jack wore a dark suit with strange symbols on the chest and carried a helmet under one arm. The human had short hair and a determined expression. "Nice light show," said Jack, looking around at the glowing Lumari crew. "Now let's get you folks out of here before those hunters remember you exist." Teal stepped forward. "We appreciate your bravery, Lieutenant, but there are 7 ships in our fleet. Your vessel is too small to rescue everyone." Jack smiled. "Not planning to. I'm here for you and your top scientists. Earth needs information about these Verox creatures if we're going to defend ourselves. The rest of your fleet needs to scatter." and hide in the asteroid belt until we can come back for them. Split up our people? Teal's light dimmed with concern. The Varrocs will hunt them down one by one. Not if they can't find them, said Jack, pulling out a small device. This is an energy dampener. We've been developing it to hide from Earth satellites. Should work on your ships too. It'll make them nearly invisible to sensors. Outside, the Varroc ships continued to chase the human vessel, which now flew on autopilot, still blasting its war music. We have maybe 10 minutes before they realize. That ship is empty, Jack explained. We need to move now. Teal made the difficult decision. He sent orders to the other 6 ships to activate the human dampeners and hide among the asteroids. Then he selected his 3 top scientists to join him on Jack's shuttle. As they prepared to leave, Reed approached Teal. Commander, I've been analyzing the Varroc's communications. They're calling for reinforcements. Many more hunter ships are coming. Jack nodded grimly. All the more reason to get back to Earth fast. Director Kane needs to hear what we're up against. The small shuttle detached from the Lumari command ship just as the Varrocs finally destroyed the empty human vessel. For a moment, the hunters celebrated their victory, not noticing the tiny shuttle slipping away in the opposite direction. They'll discover we're gone soon, said Teal as they accelerated toward Earth. Doesn't matter, replied Jack. This shuttle has the same phantom drive as my ship. We'll be halfway to Earth before they can track us. The Lumari scientists stared in wonder as stars seemed to blur around them. The phantom drive manipulated space in ways their own technology couldn't match. Why, did you come? Asked Teal. Your world could have ignored our message. The Varrocs weren't threatening Earth yet. Jack's face grew serious. Director Kane figured it out right away. These hunters don't stop with one prey. If they're in our system, sooner or later they'd come for us too. Better to face them now, with allies. As they approached Earth, Teal saw the blue-green planet that his people had studied from afar for so long. It looked peaceful, beautiful, and completely unprepared for what was coming. Can your people really stand against the Varrocs? Teal asked quietly. Their technology is centuries ahead of yours. Jack smiled again, but this time there was something fierce in it. Technology isn't everything, Commander. Humans have something the Varrocs might not understand. What's that? We know what it's like to be both predator and prey. For most of our history, we were hunted by bigger, stronger creatures. We survived by outthinking them. Then we became the hunters ourselves. Jack looked out at the stars where the Varroc ships would soon be searching for them. These Varrocs think they're the galaxy's top predators. They're about to learn they're wrong. The shuttle entered Earth's atmosphere, heading for a hidden base in a place Jack called Antarctica. On the communication screen, Director Kane's face appeared. Welcome to Earth, Commander Teal, said the director. I wish it were under better circumstances. How many hunter ships are we facing? 20 that we counted, answered Teal. But more are coming. Kane nodded gravely. Then we have work to do. Lieutenant, bring our guests to the war room. It's time to show these Varrocs what happens when they hunt in human territory. As the shuttle landed, Teal felt both fear and hope. The Lumari had always avoided conflict, choosing to run and hide from threats. These humans were different. They faced danger with a strange mix of caution and excitement that Teal had never seen before. Perhaps, he thought, they really did have a chance against the hunters after all. The war room deep beneath Antarctica buzzed with activity. Maps and holographic displays showed the solar system, with red dots marking the last known positions of the Varrocs hunter ships. Director Kane stood at the center table, her gray hair pulled back tightly, eyes focused on the reports coming in from Earth's orbital sensors. 20 confirmed hunter ships with at least 15 more on the way, she announced to the room. They found 2 of the hidden Lumari vessels and destroyed one. Commander Teal's light dimmed with sadness. 30 of his people, gone. Scientists and explorers who had never harmed anyone. Lieutenant Jack entered the room, now wearing a fresh flight suit with Earth defense patches. The Phantom drive is recharged and ready, just give me the word. Director Kane nodded. Commander Teal has shared everything he knows about Varroc's technology and behavior. It's time we showed them what humans can do. She turned to the Lumari. With your permission, Commander, we'd like to try something unconventional. Teal looked confused. My permission? You're the ones with the plan. But they're your people at risk, Kane replied. What we're suggesting isn't without danger, and if it fails, the Varrox might become even more aggressive toward the remaining Lumari ships. This was not how things worked in the places the Lumari had visited before. Most species didn't ask for permission when they held all the power. These humans were strange indeed. What do you propose? Asked Teal. Lieutenant Jack stepped forward. The Varrox hunt like pack animals. They surround, isolate, and kill. But what happens when the prey doesn't act like prey? A smile spread across Jack's face. What happens when the prey hunts back? An hour later, Jack was back in space piloting the second Phantom drive ship. This one was loaded with special equipment designed by Earth scientists based on Teal's information about Varrox biology. The Varrox fleet had regrouped around Captain Mork's command ship. They were systematically searching the asteroid belt. Finding the hidden Lumari vessels one by one, Jack activated the communication system. This is Lieutenant Jack of Earth Defense hailing Captain Mork of the Varrox Hunter Fleet. After a moment of silence, Mork's rough voice answered. The little human returns. Have you come to watch your new friends die? Actually, I came to introduce myself properly. Jack's voice remained casual, almost friendly. On Earth, when hunters meet, they show respect. They recognize each other as equals. Mork laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the communication system. Equals? Your kind barely leaves your planet. You have one ship. We have 35. How are we equals? Numbers don't make a hunter, replied Jack. Skill does. Intelligence does. There was a pause. Courage does, the Varrox captain growled. You speak of courage while hiding in that tiny ship? I'm not hiding, I'm right here. Jack pressed a button, and the Phantom drive ship appeared directly in front of Mork's command vessel, less than 100 meters away. Can you see me now? The sudden appearance of the human ship so close startled the Varrox. Several hunter ships turned their weapons toward Jack, but Mork ordered them to hold fire. Interesting trick, human. But it won't save you or the Lumari. I didn't come to talk about the Lumari, said Jack. I came to talk about hunting. Your ships are organic technology, aren't they? Partially alive and connected to your minds. Mork didn't answer, but his silence confirmed Jack's question. I thought so, continued Jack. The way they move, almost like they're breathing. Beautiful design. We humans have nothing like it. Another button press, and Jack's ship began broadcasting a low, pulsing sound. I wonder, can they hear this? The sound was barely audible to human or Lumari ears, but the effect on the Varrox ships was immediate. They shuddered, their organic parts twitching as if in pain. What are you doing? Demanded Mork, his voice tight with anger. Just playing some music, Jack answered innocently. Something from Earth's ancient past. War drums. The sound hunters used to make before killing their prey. The drumbeat grew louder, more complex. Ancient tribal rhythms that had once echoed across Earth's plains and forests during hunts. The Varrox ship's movements became more erratic. Stop this, Mork shouted, or we will destroy you. You could try, said Jack. But can your ships concentrate enough to aim? The sound affects their organic components, doesn't it? Makes them nervous, afraid. Several hunter ships began firing randomly, their weapons missing Jack's small vessel. The Phantom drive allowed the ship to blink in and out of normal space, appearing in different locations with each beat of the drums. Afraid? Mork's voice rose with fury. Varrox fear nothing. Everyone fears something, Captain, Jack replied calmly. Even hunters, especially hunters. More buttons pressed, and now human voices joined the drums. War cries, battle songs from Poam, 100 Earth cultures. The effect on the hunter ships grew stronger. Their movements became chaotic, almost panicked. Some began firing at empty space, others turned in circles, unable to track the Phantom ship. Director Kane's voice came through Jack's private channel. It's working. The organic components of their ships are responding to the sound patterns just as Commander Teal predicted. Their neural systems are overloading. Jack nodded, though no one could see him. Time for Phase 2. Suddenly, 10 more Phantom Drive ships appeared around the Varrock's fleet, each one broadcasting the same war drums and battle cries. The Hunter ships fired wildly at the new targets. More human vessels? Mork sounded confused. Where did they come from? Jack laughed. That's the funny thing about humans, Captain. We learn fast. While you were busy hunting Lumari, we figured out how to make drone ships with Phantom drives. No pilots, just automated systems programmed to drive your ships crazy. The drone ships darted between the Varrock's vessels, broadcasting their maddening sounds. Some hunter ships began to turn on each other, firing at anything that moved. This isn't hunting, Mork raged. This is trickery. No, Jack replied, his voice suddenly serious. This is survival. On Earth, we were prey before we were predators. We know both sides of the hunt, and we learned something your kind never did. What's that? Mork demanded as his fleet fell into chaos around him. Sometimes the most dangerous prey is the one that refuses to run. Jack activated the Phantom drive again, his ship vanishing from Mork's sensors only to reappear directly behind the Varrock's command ship, the one that turns and fights back. At Antarctica Base, Commander Teal watched the screens with amazement. The mighty Varrock's fleet was in disarray, confused by sounds and images they couldn't understand. Their organic ships connected to their minds were overwhelmed by the unfamiliar sensations. I've never seen anything like it, Teal said softly. You're defeating them without destroying them. Director Kane smiled grimly. That's just Phase 2. Phase 3 is making sure they never come back. She pressed her communication button. Lieutenant, you're clear for extraction. Jack's voice came through, steady and determined. Copy that. Moving to rescue the remaining Lumari ships now. As the Varrock's fleet continued to fight shadows and echoes, the human Phantom ship slipped away, heading for the asteroid belt, where the last Lumari scientists waited, hoping for rescue. Captain, Mork watched with growing rage as his perfect hunt fell apart. These humans weren't prey at all. They were something new, something dangerous, and for the first time in his long hunting career, Mork felt what his own victims had always felt. Fear. Captain Mork paced the bridge of his command ship, his clawed feet making angry clicks against the metal floor. Screens showed his once mighty fleet scattered across the solar system. 7 hunter ships disabled, 3 more chasing phantom signals that led nowhere. The rest huddled in defensive formations, their organic systems still twitching from the effects of the human sound weapons. Find them, Mork roared at his crew. How hard can it be to track one small human ship? His second-in-command, Officer Draz, looked up from his scanner. Captain, the human vessel uses technology we've never encountered. It appears and disappears at will, and now there are multiple signals matching its pattern. Mork slammed his fist into the nearest wall, leaving a dent in the metal. They're making us look like fools. The Varrock's are the greatest hunters in the galaxy. We do not become prey. Meanwhile, at Earth's moon base, Lieutenant Jack guided the last rescued Lumari ship into the hidden hangar. 5 of the 7 research vessels had been saved, though many were damaged. Commander Teal waited as Jack's Phantom ship landed beside them. Your plan worked perfectly, Teal said, his light glowing with relief as Jack stepped out. The remaining Lumari scientists are safe. Jack nodded, looking tired but satisfied. For now, but Mork won't give up so easily. The Varrock's hate losing, a hunt more than anything. Director Kane entered the hangar accompanied by Earth scientists and military officers. Lieutenant Jack is right. This was only round 1. Our scouts report 15 more Varrock ships have entered the solar system. They're regrouping for a larger attack. Can we use the sound weapons again? Asked Teal. Kane shook her head. They're already adapting. The organic parts of their ships are becoming resistant to the frequencies we used. We need a new strategy. Jack looked thoughtful. Commander Teal, You mentioned that Varrock's hunter ships are partially alive, correct? A mix of machine and biological components? Teal's light pulsed in confirmation. Yes. The Varrock's bond with their ships through a neural link. It gives them faster reactions and better control in battle. And that link works both ways? Pressed Jack. The ships feel what the Varrock's feel? In a sense, yes, it's what made your sound attack so effective. The ships experienced the Varrock's confusion and fear. A slow smile spread across Jack's face. Director Kane, I have an idea. But it's going to take every Phantom drive ship we have. And one more thing. 2 days later, Captain Mork watched, with satisfaction as his reinforced fleet formed a perfect hunting circle. 50 Varrock ships now surrounded Earth and its moon, their weapons fully charged. No more games, Mork growled to his crew. We'll destroy their moon base first, then target their major cities. These humans will learn what happens when you challenge the Varrocks. Suddenly, alarm signals blared across the command ship. Captain, shouted Officer Draz, multiple Phantom signatures appearing all around us. Not 10 or 20 this time, but hundreds of small Phantom drive ships blinked into existence, surrounding the Varrock's fleet in a sphere of blinking lights. Each one darted in a different direction, making it impossible to track them all. Mork bared his teeth in a vicious smile. They think quantity will save them. Fire at will. Destroy them all. The Varrock's ships opened fire, energy beams cutting through space. But the Phantom ships simply disappeared before being hit, reappearing elsewhere in the formation. Not a single one was destroyed. Sir, said Draz, looking confused. Sensors show no life signs on those ships. They're all empty. Drones. Again, Mork spat. Cowards! They hide behind machines while real hunters face their prey directly. As if in answer to his words, a single, larger Phantom ship appeared directly in front of Mork's command vessel. Inside was Lieutenant Jack, alone at the controls. Captain, Mork? Jack's voice came through clearly. I thought you might want to meet face to face. Hunter to hunter. Mork leaned forward, his black eyes narrowing. Finally showing some courage, human? Your tricks won't save you now. No tricks, replied Jack calmly. Just a simple challenge. You and me. One hunter against another. The Varrock's captain laughed. You'd challenge me? With what weapons? Your ship is tiny compared to mine. Size isn't everything, Jack said. On Earth, the smartest hunter often beats the strongest. He paused. Unless, of course, you're afraid to face a single human alone. Rage filled Mork's face. Afraid? I've hunted creatures 10 times your size across 100 worlds. I fear nothing. Prove it, Jack said simply. Follow me. Just your ship. Leave your fleet here. Without waiting for an answer, Jack's ship turned and accelerated away from Earth, deeper into the solar system. Mork didn't hesitate. His pride as a hunter was at stake. Stay here, he ordered his fleet. I will kill this human myself and bring back its head as a trophy. The command ship broke formation following Jack's Phantom vessel at full speed. Behind them, the drone ships continued their dance around the remaining Varrock's fleet, keeping them distracted and confused. Jack led Mork toward the outer planets, occasionally slowing to make sure the Varrock's ship stayed close. The Phantom drive could have easily escaped, but that wasn't the plan. Where are you running to, human? Mork demanded over the communication channel. There's nowhere to hide in this system. Who's hiding? Replied Jack. I'm just finding the right hunting ground. As they passed the orbit of Mars, Jack's ship suddenly disappeared from Mork's sensors. The Varrock's captain growled in frustration, scanning in all directions. Then he saw it. The human ship was flying directly toward the sun. Suicide? Mork wondered, aloud. But he followed anyway, determined not to lose his prey. Back at the moon base, Director Kane watched the tracking screens with Commander Teal and the Earth Defense Team. He's leading Mork exactly where we want him, she said. Right into the trap. Teal's light flickered with worry. But Lieutenant Jack is putting himself at great risk. Kane nodded grimly. That's Jack for you. Always volunteers for the most dangerous missions. Near the orbit of Mercury, Jack's ship slowed again, letting Mork's command vessel draw closer. The heat from the nearby sun was intense, affecting the sensors on both ships. "End of the line, human," Mork said, his weapons locking onto Jack's ship. "Nowhere left to run." "Who said anything about running?" Jack replied. Then he pressed a sequence of buttons on his console. Suddenly, the space around them lit up with blinding light. Hundreds of mirrors previously hidden by Earth scientists unfurled and positioned themselves to catch the sun's rays. They focused the intense light directly on Mork's ship. The organic parts of the Varrock's vessel screamed in pain as the concentrated heat burned through their sensitive outer layers. The neural link transferred that pain directly to Mork and his crew. "What? What is this?" Mork gasped, falling to his knees as his ship shuddered around him. "Just a little something we cooked up," Jack answered. "Solar reflectors. Primitive technology by your standards, I'm sure, but very effective against organic ships." The Varrock's command ship tried to turn away, but more mirrors moved to keep it bathed in the burning light. Its weapons fired randomly, missing Jack's nimble phantom ship. "You said you wanted to hunt face to face," Jack continued, his voice hardening. "But real hunters respect their prey. They only kill what they need, not for sport. You hunt for pleasure. You destroy for fun." The phantom ship circled the suffering Varrock's vessel. "How does it feel to be the prey, Captain Mork?" For the first time, real fear showed in Mork's black eyes. His mighty ship, connected to his own nervous system, was in agony. And through it, so was he. "Mercy," Mork gasped, a word he had never used before. "Call off your attack." Jack's voice was cold. "Like the mercy you showed the Lumari, or the countless other species you've hunted to extinction?" The mirrors adjusted again, intensifying the heat. The Varrock's ship's outer hull began to crack. "Wait," Mork cried out. "What do you want?" Jack smiled. "Now that's the right question, Captain. What I want is for you and your fleet to leave this solar system and never return. Earth is now under the protection of humanity. Any Varrock ships that enter our space will be hunted down. Not for sport, not for trophies, but because we protect what's ours." The Varrock's captain nodded weakly, his pride shattered along with his ship. "Agreed. We will go." The mirrors slowly turned away, releasing the command ship from their burning. "Focus." Jack watched as Mork's damaged vessel limped away, back toward his waiting fleet. "Director Kane," Jack reported through his secure channel. "The hunter has become the hunted. Mork is returning to his fleet with a message. Earth is off limits." At the moon base, humans and Lumari cheered together. Commander Teal's light glowed brighter than ever before as he turned to Director Kane. "Your lieutenant took an enormous risk," he said. "Why would one human put themselves in such danger for aliens they just met?" Kane smiled. "That's something you'll learn about humans, Commander. We might fight among ourselves, but when faced with an outside threat..." She looked at the screen showing Jack's ship returning triumphantly to the moon. "We stand together, and we protect our friends." 3 months had passed since the Varrock's fleet fled the solar system. Earth's moon had transformed from a quiet research outpost to a bustling center of interstellar diplomacy. Inside the largest dome, humans and Lumari worked side by side, their different forms moving in harmony. Commander Teal stood at the large viewing window, his light pulsing gently as he watched Earth rise above the lunar horizon. The blue-green planet seemed peaceful from this distance, though he knew it was anything but. Since the defeat of the Varrock's, humanity had been preparing for the future with remarkable speed. "Beautiful view, isn't it?" Lieutenant Jack appeared, beside him, now wearing the uniform of the newly formed Earth Defense Coalition. A silver pin on his chest showed Earth and its moon with a protective circle around them. "Indeed," Teal replied. "Though I never expected to see it up close like this. Our mission was merely to observe your species from a distance." Jack smiled. "Well, plans change, sometimes for the better." Director Kane entered the observation room, carrying a data tablet. Her stern face had softened slightly over the past months, though the responsibility she carried still showed in her eyes. "The Varrock's have kept their word so far," she reported. "Our long-range sensors show their fleet has withdrawn to the Arcturus system. But they're rebuilding their ships. They won't stay away forever. Jack nodded. We didn't expect them to. Hunters, like that, don't forget a humiliation. Which is why today's meeting is so important, Kane added, turning to Teal. Are your representatives ready, Commander? Before Teal could answer, a soft chime sounded throughout the base. A young human officer rushed in, excitement clear on her face. Director Kane, the Centi ships have arrived, 3 vessels approaching from the direction of the Pleiades. Kane straightened her uniform. Right on time. The Centi are known for their punctuality. She glanced at Teal. Thanks to the Lumari's introductions, of course. The 3 made their way to the main conference room. Through the large windows, they could see 3 elegant ships descending toward the landing pad. Unlike the smooth Lumari vessels or the predatory Varrox hunters, the Centi ships resembled delicate insects, with translucent wings that caught the sunlight. How many species will be represented today? Jack asked as they walked. 7, replied Teal, his light brightening with pride. The Centi, the Moro, the Khand, the Vel, the Tarak, my own Lumari, and of course humans. All have suffered from Varrox hunting parties over the centuries. None have been able to stand against them alone. Kane nodded. Until now. The conference room filled over the next hour. The delegates were a stunning display of the galaxy's diversity. The insect-like Centi clicked their mandibles in greeting. The furry Moro huddled together, their 6 eyes blinking nervously. The crystalline Vel shimmered as they moved, while the massive Tarak had to duck to enter through the human-sized doors. Director Kane took her place at the head of the table. Lieutenant Jack stood beside her, representing Earth's military. Commander Teal joined the other Lumari delegates, their collective light creating a soft glow around their section of the room. Welcome to Earth, Kane began. 3 months ago, most of us didn't know the others existed. Today we gather as potential allies, perhaps even as friends. The Centi leader stepped forward, her delicate antennae quivering. The Lumari have told us how your species defeated a Varrox hunting fleet, with just 1 ship. This seems difficult to believe. Jack smiled. Not 1 ship, 1 strategy. We used the Varrox's greatest strength against them, their connection to their ships. For centuries, the Varrox have hunted our peoples, rumbled the Tarak leader, his stone-like skin cracking slightly as he spoke. We hide, we run, we survive by staying out of their way. That approach isn't working, Kane said firmly. The Varrox grow bolder each year, expanding their hunting grounds. Sooner or later, they find every hiding place. Commander Teal's light pulsed in agreement. Director Kane is right. The Lumari have been running for generations. We've lost colonies, research stations, entire scientific expeditions to the hunters. What do you propose instead? Asked the leader of the Moro, his fur rippling with skepticism. Kane pressed a button, and a holographic display appeared in the center of the room. It showed the solar system, with Earth highlighted. An alliance, a mutual defense pact between all our species. Earth will serve as the first sanctuary world, a place where any peaceful species can find protection from hunters like the Varrox. The room filled with murmurs, clicks, and the rustle of movement as the delegates discussed this bold proposal. Why would we trust humans with such responsibility? Asked the Vel representative, her crystalline body reflecting light around the room. Your species is young, untested in the greater galaxy. Jack stepped forward. Fair question. We are young. We make mistakes. But we have something none of your species has demonstrated against the Varrox. And what is that? The Vel asked. We fight back, Jack said simply. Not just to survive, but to win. It's in our nature. Throughout our history, humans have faced predators larger and stronger than ourselves. We didn't just hide from them. We studied them. We learned their weaknesses. And eventually we became the dominant species on our planet. The room grew quiet as the alien delegates considered his words. The Varrox believe themselves to be the perfect hunters, continued Jack. But they've never faced prey that hunts them back. They've never encountered a species that understands both sides of the hunt. We do, Director Kane added. We're not asking any of you to change your peaceful ways. The Lumari will continue their scientific missions. The Senti can focus on their art, the Vel on their philosophy. Let Earth and humanity be your shield. Commander Teal moved to stand beside Jack and Kane, his light glowing bright and steady. I have seen these humans in action. They fought for my people when they had no obligation to do so. They risked their lives to save strangers. His light pulsed in a pattern that conveyed deep respect. In all our explorations, the Lumari have never encountered a species quite like them. The Tarak leader's rocky face shifted into what might have been a smile. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. An old concept, but perhaps a wise one in this case. One by one, the other delegates indicated their agreement. The Senti leader stepped forward first, touching her forehead to Kane's in her people's gesture of alliance. The others followed with their own customs, the Moro offering a strand of their precious fur, the Vel sharing a small crystal from their body, the Tarak presenting a piece of stone from their home world. As the ceremony concluded, Jack looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Varrocs were plotting their revenge, but they would return to find not a single species to hunt but 7 united against them. Later that evening, Commander Teal found Jack alone on the observation deck, staring at the distant points of light. Thinking about the Varrocs? Teal asked. Jack nodded. Captain Mork won't forget what happened here. He'll be back with more ships and new tactics. Are you worried? No, Jack said with a small smile. Just planning. That's another thing about human hunters. We're always thinking ahead. Teal's light rippled with what Jack had come to recognize as laughter. The Lumari Council has approved construction of a joint research station here at Earth's moon. We will share our technology with humans while you teach us some of your unconventional tactics. Sounds like a fair trade, Jack replied. There is one more thing, added Teal. Word of what happened here has spread. 3 more species have contacted the Lumari, asking to join your alliance. They too have suffered from Varroc's hunts. Jack's smile grew wider. More friends are always welcome. As they stood together watching Earth turn slowly below them, Teal reflected on the strange twist of fate that had brought his scientific mission into contact with these remarkable humans. What had begun as a desperate call for help had become something much more, the beginning of a new chapter for all their peoples. In the depths of space, the scattered Varroc's fleet limped toward home. On the command ship, Captain Mork nursed his wounded pride and burnt body. His black eyes stared at the recording of the human vessel that had humiliated him. Again and again, he watched the phantom ship dart between his mighty hunters, leading them into chaos and defeat. I will return, he whispered to the empty room, and next time, I will be ready for you, humans. But deep in his hunter's heart, a new feeling had taken root beside his rage, a feeling the Varrocs seldom experienced. Doubt. For the first time, the greatest hunters in the galaxy wondered if they had finally met their match. A species that refused to be prey. A world that protected others instead of hiding in fear. A human.